If you are new to the Be Your Own Kind brand, welcome. If you like what you hear and see, please subscribe to the Be Your Own Kind YouTube channel. And if you're listening to the podcast, please follow me. Also, in the description box, you can find my Linktree link to all Be Your Own Kind related matters, such as the BYOK merch, where we sell items from t-shirts, sweatshirts, masks, and mugs. Also, you will find our website and the links to my social media pages. Also, we are always looking to collaborate with others, such as business owners, vloggers, bloggers, or just if you simply want to share your story. Last but not least, if you are looking to promote your business, Be Your Own Kind will gladly promote you. If you are interested in details, please email me at info@beyourownkind.com. Thank you for tuning in and for supporting the Be Your Own Kind platform. Hey lovelies, thanks for tuning into a new episode of the Be Your Own Kind podcast. This podcast has afforded me the opportunity to connect with such dope people. I always leave my interviews so inspired while also gaining a life nugget. Today's interview is no different as I touch base with Zaakirah Muhammad. In this episode, she shares with us how a simple glimpse at a photograph saves her vision and her life. Zaakirah Muhammad is a creative strategist, photographer, cancer survivor, author, and podcaster. She has created a platform that inspires people to step outside their comfort zone and walk in their purpose. Now let's take flight. Do you find yourself overwhelmed with small business tasks? Well, Be Your Own Kind Freelancing is here to take the weight off. We specialize in assisting businesses with various administrative duties, HR consulting, online marketing, and editing services for podcasters and YouTubers. If you have a need we haven't mentioned, contact us to see if we can help. For more information, email us at info@beyourownkind.com. Leave the tedious task with us and take your time. 3. Hi, Zaakirah. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you, Anita?
I'm doing pretty well. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Zaakirah. I am a creative strategist and the founder of Focus Media Group. It's focused with a PH, not an F. And it's combined my love of photography and marketing and helping other entrepreneurs to grow their brand. And I'm also a podcaster too. So my podcast is in transition, but it's called the Living Legacy Podcast right now, but it's gonna go to being called See Life Different, because I am an author of a book called See Life Through a Different Lens. And I love just kind of telling my story, but also telling the story of other women, of how they overcame adversity.
Oh, okay. Nice. Where can we find that book?
So it is on Amazon.
Okay.
And I can pull it out, and just for those who are watching, it's on Amazon, and it's an audiobook as well, but it's also available on my website, zaakirahnayar.com/book.
Okay.
So audiobook, ebook, and paperback as well.
I love audiobooks. Yeah. I can be emotional and still, get my.
I can't multitask like that. It's like if it's like I know I'm retraining the information, but most of the time I probably have to go back and re-listen to that chapter if I was doing something else. I'm like, okay, wait, what was that? I heard you, but I didn't hear you.
Right. Like it's good, like when working out, like doing an activity where you don't really have to think, like working and listen to an audiobook. Yeah, I would miss the entire thing. It'll be like the end, and I'm like, what happened? So, you are a cancer survivor, right?
I am. Yes, I am.
Nice. And what kind of cancer did you survive from?
It's Retinoblastoma. So it's a rare childhood eye cancer. So when I was 3 months old, my mother took a photo of me, like all moms do with their newborn babies, but she saw a white glow instead of a red glow. You know how if you see red eyes and whatnot. And so she took that photograph to more than one doctor, more than one co-worker and doctor, to kind of figure out what's with it. Is this normal? I don't think it's normal. And so, unfortunately, one doctor said, no, you're fine. Don't worry about it. But she trusted her intuition and went to another doctor, who then gave a referral to a specialist. And that's when they were able to detect the cancer before I completely went blind or even died. Because unfortunately, it's so rare that if it's not detected in enough time, it can spread to the brain and kill all the brain cells. So fortunately, I'm still alive, and fortunately, I can still see to this day. So retinoblastoma is very rare, and thank goodness for technology though, where it can be detected either in the womb of mothers now or as soon as the baby's out. So yeah.
Oh wow. Wow. That's a blessing your mother caught that.
Yeah.
Wow. You're a
Yeah.
walking miracle.
Yeah, literally. someone, I think sometimes if some people ask on social media, like, what's one word to describe me, right? Someone actually said the word chosen. So I'm like, I guess so. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. And because you are gifted, you're still gifted with your eyesight, you chose to utilize that to help other brands and be a photographer. So, photographer, you see different angles from a person perspective, and people are inspired by that. So you're taking your talent and, inspiring the world. So that's pretty cool.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Blessing in disguise. I'm so glad that my mom introduced me to a camera when I was 5 years old, and since then I've been ripping and running with a camera. So I mean, of course, I've studied it, but it was just so interesting to reflect on the fact that my mom gave me one of those cameras. Well, first it was a Kodak Polaroid camera. I don't know if you remember those. Well, they brought it back, where you just take a photo and it develops right before your very eyes. But then after that, the cameras I was always using were the convenience store cameras, where you have to wait a week and see if you took a good photo or not. So a lot of the times I had pretty good photos. I ended up becoming the family historian, just taking photos when people don't even want their photo to be taken. But later on, they would find out that's the only photo or the best photo that they had of them. So that's been fun, a fun journey of technically more than 20 years of photographing, even before I started studying it and photographing other people and other brands and other places. So that's been fun.
Cool. And you're a traveler as well, right? You
I
traveled
am.
to 10 countries?
I have traveled to 10 countries. Yes,
Oh my
way
God.
before 2020 though.
Did 2020 mess up some traveling plans?
Kind of, because I'm not 30 yet. I'll give that little secret. I'm not 30 yet, and I did want to reach this goal of visiting 30 countries by the age of 30. That I kind of on a little bit of a haul, but that's all right.
So out of the 10 countries, which location inspired you the most?
um, that's hard to answer because every place has something beautiful about it. But I guess I will say I love the countries where I could just speak English and be myself, but I love learning a new language as well. But I think my last country actually was South Africa, and maybe it was my favorite country as well because I'm a techie, I'm a creative, and there are so many creatives there, so many people that look like me there, and we could still converse in English, or if they wanted to hop on over to their local language and try to teach me. So I think I really like South Africa, but I really love any of the African countries that I was able to go to. I've been to Ghana. That was the first African country that I went to. And then after that was the Gambia and Senegal. But there's something different about Southern and Eastern Africa. It's kind of like they were on a different path when it came to, I guess, the history of like the slave trade and whatnot, because most of it was right along the Western part. So history is different and it feels different, it looks different. So I think I'll just say South Africa, but it is hard to say a favorite because every country that I go to, there's something so unique about it. Every time I go, I'm like, I want to retire here. No, I think I'll retire here. No, I'm gonna retire over there. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to go to Ghana so bad. My best friend visited there. She said it's so beautiful, like so
Yeah.
beautiful there.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's on my bucket list.
Cool. Cool.
Just waiting on the world to open back up, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Hopefully next for me will be Kenya. I really enjoy going to countries where there's a lot of people that look like me. So African countries, Caribbean countries. I have been to European countries and South American countries, but there's something different about that warmth that you feel on the motherland. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. A place where you feel like you belong.
Yeah.
And you're not
Yeah.
trying to like pencil yourself in. Like
Exactly.
this is your land,
Exactly.
Yeah. So one of the topics you wanted to talk about was purpose, which I thought was a very great topic. What do you feel is your life's purpose?
I think every at that age, every year, it's kind of becoming more and more clear and clarified. But I do think that it involves telling my story, inspiring others through my story, but also inspiring others visually, because I've been blessed to be a photographer for so long, and I've used my photography skills to then learn how to film videos, and then those videos then turned into podcasts, and of course my own book. After releasing my own book, I've been helping other women to tell their stories in their own books. So I feel like it's just a matter of using my creativity to inspire others to step outside of their own comfort zone and tell their own stories as well.
That's a great purpose, because some people they don't know if it matters, if their story matters, or they feel like they have to hide even the ugly is beautiful in the end because you got through it. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like maybe some people may be embarrassed, or like I said, some people just don't know how to articulate what happened to them in book form. So
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I think that's cool that you help people, or you help them develop a voice, so to speak.
Pretty much, yeah. And but also, they do most of the work, really. And I would definitely attest to therapy too, because, well, for me, I have different forms of therapy: prayer, music, talk therapy with like my closest friends. Of course, I would go to a therapist if necessary, but I have not found one that gets me yet. So it's a hunt. It's a hunt. But a lot of it is them doing the internal work of, where do those traumas come from? Where are those happy places coming from? Like, what are your favorite memories? Just, do some deep soul searching, deep reflection. And I just do this strategy and creative side, like just, organize it a little better. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good, because writer's block is serious. It is for real.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you don't know where to start.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. So what pivotal moment helped you discover this purpose?
I think maybe in 2015. I think that was pretty pivotal for me. That was a pivotal year. I had gotten married the year before, but 2015 was actually the year that I got to photograph, I guess, my childhood best friend's wedding. But shortly after that, she passed away. So it was a reminder. I mean, throughout my life, I've been reminded death is in the forefront because I am a cancer survivor. But when you lose someone so close to you, it's like another reminder that life is short, that your story needs to be told, that what's your legacy going to be? Like, what happens if you pass away tomorrow? Like, what would happen? What will people say about you? And of course, your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. And so that for me is actually when I started to realize that there are so many other photographers out here that want to learn but don't know how to. And I was learning how to package up my, probably had been at least 10 years of experience at that time, package that up to teach others. And that's actually when my mom started the book first. So the book, actually, Seeing Life Through a Different Lens, is written by both me and my mom. So she's a ghostwriter. You look for her name, but it's barely there. So she's in there. And so that is when she actually started blogging. She started it out as a blog first, and she started blogging about my story. And so that was actually when it really first started. Of She actually got to acquire someone to look at her first manuscript, and so I took a look at it, and I was like, I don't know, it could be better. And so, but basically, she was just like, but it's your story, so take it and run with it, do what you want with it. And so, of course, imposter syndrome kicked in a little bit. I'm like, I too was like, who's gonna read my story? Who cares? Why should I write it? Da da da. But it took a little while. But I think 2015 was that pivotal year of like, you could pass away tomorrow and not have this done. You could pass away tomorrow, no one would know your story. You could pass away tomorrow and not be of impact at all. So I think that's what really kind of lit a fire under my butt in a way, after grieving, of course, to just walk into my purpose fearlessly, almost.
That's dope. That's dope. And you're right. Some people, when you think about your story, you're like, who's gonna care about this? I'm not famous. but you never know who you're going to touch. Just like when you finish your book and you have women reaching out to you, did you ever think that you would have women reaching out to you?
But it's crazy also because it's where the women come from, or their stories, or how they found me. So you can expect, like, okay, more reach when the book comes out, more reach, when you do more podcast interviews. But it's always just like, wow, like that's the part you connected, that's the part you resonated with the most. It's always the least expected part, and that's the beautiful part about the human connection stuff.
Yeah, you never know what touches a person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
most definitely. And you just mentioned legacy. What is the legacy you want to leave behind? What do you want people to know you as or say about you?
I do love it when people do tell me that I did inspire them to become more confident. I did inspire them to become more comfortable in front of the camera, become more comfortable in whatever creative love that they had, right? Because, of course, in this world, in this generation, it's either you will be a doctor, a lawyer, or nothing else, right? Like, they don't push the tech job, they don't push the creative job. So the fact that I know that I can inspire a person to fulfill that, if that's what they really, really wanted to do, inspire them to step outside of their own comfort zone, even if it does mean, unfortunately, leaving toxic relationships, both platonic and romantic. Just knowing that I did leave that impact of inspiring you to step outside of your comfort zone and walk into the full version of yourself. So.
Yeah, photographers have a way of doing that anyway, though. Like, I know anytime I've had a photo shoot, it's like, you come in there thinking it's gonna look one way, and they're like, no, show this. Oh, you want to show my whole body? Yes, I want you to move your hair here, do this, show this leg, and da 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 da. And by the end of the photo shoot, you feel confident. You go from, okay, I just want to show my face, to yes, And at first you're kind of reluctant. Yeah, photographers are always pushing you past your limits anyway. Just being a photographer, you're pushing people past their limits. So I think that's pretty dope. I think that's pretty dope. So you're mentioning mental health, which is another topic that you wanted to bring up. And in this time with the pandemic and people kind of just like got knocked out of their routine, I feel like it's so important that people maintain like a good mental health. And what are ways that you've maintained your mental health like during this time?
Believe it or not, be listening to my own podcast episodes. If of course, at some point I had to start DIYing and editing my own podcast, and it's so ironic that whoever I interviewed or whatever I talked about, when I re-listened to it, it was like I was a message that I should have received, a message that helped me in that moment of cloudiness, of depression, anxiety, overwhelm, whatever it is. But of course, other podcasts are great. I love, even though I can't travel far, I do love going for a drive. I do love being able to blast music, dance around, take a bubble bath, have a lighted candle or essential oils, or watch a funny movie. A lot of people have really retracted to that, just rewatching those sitcoms from the younger days, the older days, rewatching a favorite movie now that they're available on streaming devices. And yeah, those are kind of what I do to prioritize my mental health. But also, I think it's a matter of setting those boundaries of like, you're anxious because you need some more boundaries being set. You can't seem to communicate because you're tired, or just knowing, being self-aware and knowing how you feel and not trying to push it. Like, if you need to rest, you need to rest. If you need to change your environment, change your environment. If whatever it is that you feel, just kind of tap into that. And I've been learning to do that even more so. I feel like I've always been kind of self-aware, especially when it comes to nutrition. Like, I'm more of the like holistic nutrition route. I feel like that's also what's kept me, alive and happy and bubbly thus far. Mm-hmm. But I've just always been self-aware, but even more so self-aware now that it's literally just you and yourself, and yourself, during these
Right.
times. And there's not that many people to say like, hey, you don't look good today, or what's going on, so you got to be in tune to yourself. If you feel it coming, just, love yourself.
Right. And I feel like that 2020 afforded us the chance to get to be reacquainted with ourselves, because most of us had to work from home, or most of us lost jobs, whatever. You were isolated from your outside world. So all you had was you to depend on, to get through this. Like my husband, he works outside, so all day I'm by myself, and I've learned things about me that I never knew, and it was good, and it was like, oh, you need to work on that, but it was time with myself. And you're right, I realized during this whole pandemic how boundaries are important, and it's one thing to set those boundaries, but to uphold them, I feel, is where the strength comes in.
Yeah, because I will admit I'm a people pleaser. I will admit I've learned that I've learned about my Enneagram type, so I'm a number 2. So of course, any way that I can help you, let me help you and help you. But sometimes I'll be helping the other people more than I help myself. So that's definitely been something that I had to learn about myself, and be selfish about. Like, it's okay to be selfish, because self-care is selfish at times.
Right. And the power of no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that little word is
but
so
no,
powerful.
and keep it there. Say
Right.
no, keep it there.
Right. It's one thing like, I'm not able to do it, and then you just say, okay, I'll go ahead and do it. But it's one thing to say, I'm tired, I don't have the energy, I can't do it. And no matter what the person say, I'm still tired, I still can't do it. It's power in that. I think the scary thing about boundaries are the responses to when you set those boundaries, because if you've always responded a certain way with certain people, with certain things, especially people, they buck up against that. Like, nah, she's not serious, she said this before, she's not serious. So that's why I said upholding boundaries is really a thing, because you don't know what you're going to expect from that person. It's like some people revert back to kindergarten, and they literally throw tantrums when when you stick to what you say. So yeah.
And you remind me of a quote that I'm just paraphrasing because I barely remember it, but there was a quote that I saw on social media of like, the people who are offended by the boundaries you set are the ones who are crossing it, something like that. And so I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. It's the hard truth to swallow, but yeah, that makes sense. The people who are offended by it the most are unfortunately the ones that were crossing it.
Yeah, most definitely. So that's probably the biggest thing about boundaries that irks me. But in the end, I sleep better, and I know in the end, when you set your boundaries and you stick to them, you feel away, and sometimes when you let people bulldoze your boundaries, it almost feel like you don't have control over your life, because you don't want to do this, but you find yourself doing something that you didn't want to do. And I think that's where anxiety comes in, because you don't have control.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like you answered the question about assessing the current mental state, but and mental health apparently is important to you. Do you have any advice for anyone, that's struggling with maintaining good mental health?
But give me an example, like struggling in what way? Because we talked about so many variations of it.
You're right. I know a lot of extroverts have not had a very good experience during this pandemic.
Well, I'm an extrovert and introvert, so I don't know if I can answer that. I'm like, I'm happy being a homebody when I need to be a homebody. So I think maybe to be empathetic is utilize those Zoom conversations, utilize your own Clubhouse rooms, on Facebook rooms or whatever, with other extroverted people, so that you all can feel happy, bubbly, whatever it is you do need to get off your chest and talk about. I think that those are the best way to finding your people that you can talk to. Since if you can't safely be with someone, then definitely utilize the apps that are out there that allow the feature. Instagram has it too. You can have group DMs and everybody talk all over each other, whatever it is you like to do, and do that. And for me, even the introvert, I go ahead and talk about that. Continue doing what do you, boo? Watch those movies, listen to that music, read those books, whatever it is you need to do to just kind of take yourself out of whatever you feel like you're not in control of, and just work on you.
Yeah, that's great advice. And I have another aspect of that. People who have a hard time being alone, like sometimes silence can be so loud. Even with the TV and the things that you suggested, it's still uncomfortable because you're alone with you. And I feel like people that have that fear of being alone didn't cope well during this time either. Do you have any advice for those type of people?
That's where I think a therapist could come in, because if you cannot be alone with yourself, you cannot love yourself, what would happen when you do finally get to be in another relationship, right? Like, I think that's what I've observed more. This is where there's apparently some unpacking and spring cleaning that needs to be done internally. And as hard as it may be, it actually will be good for you in the long run. So I think this is definitely where a therapist comes in. That would be very helpful and important too.
I agree. Thank you for the advice. So you've kind of answered the BYOK staple question, but I'm not letting you get off. You had the word chosen, but I'm going to task you.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere.
No. Nope. So our staple question is, if you could describe yourself in one word besides chosen, what would it be and why?
Besides chosen? See, that's the thing. Like, I don't toot my horn in that way. I'm working on it though, but I don't toot my horn in that way. It's like I would be like, hey, what do you think? What do you think?
I mean, I could be fair if you want to do chosen again.
Okay, fine. So I appreciate being chosen. It helped me to walk into my purpose. It helped me to know that I'm fulfilling my purpose, that I was chosen for this. So no matter what anybody else wants me to do, I know that I was chosen for, that vision that came to my mind and my mind only. So yeah, I guess, yeah, that answered that.
It could be chosen. Okay. I felt like a bully. Chosen is a good word though. To have a disease that is undetectable, because I'm sure the technology wasn't out when you were 5,
Yeah, when I at the time that I was growing up, I can't even imagine. But now, like I say, people can detect it genetically in your DNA. People can detect it in the womb now, so it's detectable now. Especially, I know that when the time does come for me to have children, that there's a 50-50 chance that I might pass it on. So I know this, but there's also parents still out there that don't know this. It's coming to their child for the first time, and they don't know whether it is genetic or not. So thank goodness for technology now, where it can be detected before the baby's even born, and even saved. The visions can be saved before the child is even born. But yeah, I think that's what makes it so interesting about growing up. When I did grow up, is that there was no social media, and I literally had to advocate for myself, a lot more, where the technology wasn't there. And I have to say, I didn't see you, I didn't hear you, I don't know, I'm not ignoring you. I'm not lazy eyes, I'm not 4 eyes, you literally had to advocate for yourself growing up at the time that I did. So I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah. And makes you a stronger person for it though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you have? You have any upcoming projects? Anything coming up?
Well, I have been quietly procrastinating, but finally working on it. This summit, kind of celebrate 2 years of me podcasting, which is amazing because not many people make it. Yeah.
No.
So I'm celebrating Women's History Month, and I'm celebrating 2 years of podcasting with the See Life Different virtual summit. So 20 of 20 women speakers. Half of them are previous guests on my podcast. The other half are just, speakers that, were lucky to come into the circle. And they're all talking about the same topic we talked about today: mental health, entrepreneurship, self-development, and podcasting. So this is for women to level up in their personal and professional life, and another way for me to fulfill my purpose of helping them to step outside of their comfort zone, and walk fully into their purpose. So that is March 2nd through 4th.
Okay.
And see life bit.ly/see life different, or if you follow me on my website zaakirahnayar.com, you can find out more information about that.
Awesome. I will tune into that. I am interested.
Yay!
Totally interested. And I just want to thank you for taking the time out to be on my episode today. Your story is so inspiring and empowering, because you don't have to stop because there's a stone in the road. You pick it up, move it aside, or walk around it and keep persevering, and that's what I gather from your story. And I just thank you for sharing that with us today, especially for the person that wants to give up. And it's like, hey, if she can do it, I can do it too,
And we really got to go backwards a little bit and give thanks to my mom, because you mentioned the fact that I've been to 10 countries, and you mentioned being surprised by the fact that I've been to 10 countries. When I want to rewind a little bit and just thank my mom, because I'm thinking about my first country ever was Costa Rica, and I didn't want to go, right? I was already like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to do anything. And so, but my issue was, this is where I let fear kick in. That was actually the one of the few times where I did let fear kick in. I was so afraid, what happens if something happened to my vision? What happens if something happened to my hearing? What happens if something happened to me and I'm not near mom and dad, right? So I was afraid of all of that. But had my mom not pushed me, and had my mom's education advocates that I had at that time not pushed me, I probably would not be as well traveled as I am, not be as not feel ridden as I am, right? So definitely thanks to my mom for continuing to push me, continue to help me to be resilient, to understand that this cancer is just a stepping stone, not a boulder that you can. So yeah.
Right. And we are as strong as our community, right? If you have a strong community that's pushing you past your limits in a positive way, might I add, you can, sometimes the potential is there and you have it, but then you get that push and they push you into it. It's like, oh, okay, I see it now, So it's so beneficial to have a support group, so yeah. Kudos to mom. She caught everything. Man. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, if anyone wants to, I'm always a Facebook message, the way I try to be as interactive as possible. So yeah, if anyone wants to share the love that you felt from this podcast, of course, let me know. You can find me at Zaakirah Muhammad on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn, but I'm on Facebook. You can find me definitely on Facebook and send me a message.
Nice. Yes. Well, thank you again for your time and your inspiration today. You have definitely blessed my soul today. And I hope she's blessed your soul as well. And until next time, don't forget to be your own kind, be kind to each other, and don't forget to be kind to yourself. Bye.